Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the SUPERPOLE qualifying for the ACCSS 24 Hours of Spa, which will be coming live to you tomorrow from 11 a.m. So tonight we have the qualifying SUPERPOLE session for the top 19 drivers of our Server 2. I should say top 19 teams. So the teams are just getting ready now and putting in a little bit of practice before we get going on this event. So in the meantime, I'll just run you through the format of tonight's event and a little bit of a rundown through the teams we're going to have involved in tonight's session. So for anyone who's not familiar with SUPERPOLE qualifying, each team is going to have one nominated driver who will be taking to the track to perform one flying lap of this Spa circuit. And that will be their one attempt for a qualifying lap. So if you run wide and invalidate your lap, that is just tough luck and you're going to be starting on the back of the top 20. But for everyone who does set a valid lap, those times will be taken, and as usual, the fastest times will be at the front of the grid, and the slower times will be towards the back, or at least to 20th. And for the teams we have taking part in the SUPERPOLE event for Server 2, we have got Intercontinental Racing in the Aston Martin V8. We have Onid Racing in the Bentley Continental GT3. We have a Boat Time Racing in the Bentley Continental GT3. We have Twirl Racing or Sim Racing 1 in the Aston Martin. We're going to be seeing a lot of Aston Martins and Bentleys out on the grid tonight, and I expect during the race tomorrow, even with the balance of power adjustments, the Aston Martin and the Bentley are still very, very popular cars. Just going back down the order, we have the DGSR Dads Go Sim Racing Team Number 1 in the Bentley Continental GT3. We have noobgamers.com in the Aston Martin Vantage. OTL Racing with their Aston Martin V8 Vantage. RD24 again in the Aston Martin. Another team in the Aston Martin is FRS Team Grapefruit. We have Total Motorsport also in the Aston Martin. And then, to change things up a little bit, we've got All Sorts Racing in the Ferrari 488 Evo. And also in the Ferrari is Bez Racing Team Amerigang White. We have a Blue Cow Yacht Club in the Bentley Continental GT3. We have Arrive and Drive Racing in the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. X-Kart Esports Team, also in the Aston Martin. Wind Shadow Racing, again in the Aston Martin. Cracked D Racing Focus in the McLaren 720S GT3. Team E1 in the very rare, for the SUPERPOLE, Porsche 911 GT3. Be interesting to see how they get on. And then finally we have Lithuanian AM in the McLaren 720 GT3. But just a little while longer while we wait for our drivers to get themselves ready for our SUPERPOLE event. And the conditions for this SUPERPOLE event are going to be a lot different to what you're seeing on your screens at the moment. our camera crews went out at Spa a little earlier in the week and captured these beautiful sunny skies, but tonight we've got quite a bit of rain for you. So it's going to be interesting to see which drivers have put their rain practice in for tonight, as there is a good chance we could also see quite a bit of rain in tomorrow's 24-hour race. And as we wait for our drivers to be ready, we're just going to go to a short break, but we will be back in a couple of moments for the SUPERPOLE qualifying. Welcome back, everyone, as we get underway for our SUPERPOLE qualifying session here at Spa. As you can see, conditions are slippery here as Daniel Ryan takes to the track, will be the first driver to set a time in the Team E1 Porsche 911. So this is really spoiling us early here with the one and only Porsche going out on track. And so it's going to be a while till we get to see whether these times are going to be representative of all the other cars in the session. And be interesting to see where the Porsche slots itself in, as Daniel takes us around for their out lap. And do we have anyone in chat tonight who is cheering on Team E1 with Daniel Ryan and the other members of this team, as we get ready for Daniel Ryan to take us on our first flying lap around Spa. Whereas the the open qualifying we had before this was an opportunity for drivers to really find the fastest time they were able to do. This SUPERPOLE qualifying session is going to be all about who can deliver that one lap pace. Who can hold their nerve. Comes into the source. Not wanting to go too much near that outside curb. Can't say I blame him. That's going to be slippery in these conditions. It's also going to be interesting to see how the track evolves over this session. It's still raining, but with only one car on the track at a time, don't imagine we're going to be seeing much drying off the track, so it should stay relatively similar for each of our drivers. Come down to Lecombe. Takes a lot of curb there in the Porsche. Brave in these conditions. The drivers did have a quick 5 minutes practice session just before this SUPERPOLE, so they were able to at least test out some of these curbs and see what the conditions were like. But oh, and that is very sideways, and that looks like it may have been a cut across the inside there for Daniel. Well, I have to see whether they was an invalidation or not. They were on the curb itself, and we know the track limits here at Spa can be quite generous. Then he just needs to forget about the little mistakes that they potentially may have made. It's all about what's coming up, with just really the only tricky corner is going to be the bus stop chicane. Needs to make sure they don't leave any time on the table here. And you've got a feel for Daniel as not able to see any other times on the table, not going to know whether what they set is good or bad. Across the line it's a 2:36.5. Let's see our next car on the track is Mohammed Afiq for the G-Energy Speed Tavern MY team. Get started on their first flying lap. Keep an eye and see what the sector times are for Afiq. It looks like he may have just about kept it within the lines there. Using a lot of the curb there. It's all about keeping the car under control here. They come through Pawn. I'll say they come through Pawn. He comes through Pawn. It's a decent controlled lap from Afik here. Just the final sector to go. The first of many Aston Martins we're going to get to see this evening. Just a bus stop chicane to go. Needs to make sure they hook up the traction zone. Nice and tidy across the line for a 2:34, and that's a good 2.5 seconds faster than Ryan earlier. And now we get to see our next Aston Martin. There's Simon Renard. Takes this down towards Eau Rouge. Really is seeming like a bit of a river. Ooh, and big old twitch through Radion, but keeps it under control. Down the Camel Straight. It's all going to be about how much aero have they put on that Aston Martin. What sort of speeds are they going to be picking up as they come down into the corner. Big braking zone. Fast right, then left. Then into another fast right-hander. Slightly tentative with the outside curb there. I can't say I blame him. But risking the inside curb on the entry to Pouhon. Looking like a tidy lap so far from Simon. Across the line for a 2:33. Almost exactly, and puts him on provisional pole for now, but with still, well, 15 drivers left to set a time. They're going to be now sitting in the carriage and hoping that they can hold on to their time. There's Octavian Robu in the boat time racing. If the team name lives up, well, the team lives up to its name, it's going to be all right for these conditions. See how the Bentley handles Eau Rouge and Raidillon. There's a big old perfectly legal cut of the top of Raidillon. The Bentley does love to eat up the curbs, but needs to be careful of that in these conditions. Can handle the bumps, but none of these cars can really like the slipperiness of the curbs too much, especially when coming out of a slow corner and pushing down the power. And thankfully there aren't too many of those slow corners here at Spa. Oh, Robu really using the all the track available there, going right out onto that exit curb. Come down to the bus stop chicane. We're currently looking on for a decent time. Come down to the line. It is a 2:32.6, and that puts them at the top of the standings for now. We now go on board with Berno Reitzmer on a quite strikingly liveried Aston Martin. Around the final corner to start their one and only flying lap. See how they get on through Eau Rouge in these treacherous conditions. Nicely held together. Hopefully we won't see anyone having an incident through there. It's a very difficult corner in these conditions. And with only one lap to set your time, you really don't want to be risking too much through there. So Berno keeping it nice and tidy so far. across the bus stop chicane to go. Let's soon see where Bono will slot in the standings. It's looked like a well put together lap so far. As a very good lap from Bono, just 0.003 of a second faster than Octavian Robu. Now we get to see the first of our Ferraris set a time around the Spa circuit. It'll be interesting to see how a mid-engine car gets on in these treacherous conditions. Come down to a Rouge. Can be a little bit treacherous in the mid-engine cars, but no, nicely through there for Tyler Babin. That's looking fairly composed so far. Perhaps not using all the track possible at Poole, but potentially sensible in these conditions. Come down to the bus stop chicane. Babin looking again on for his time, but missing the first apex there of the bus stop will cost him some time. So they cross the line for a 2:33.6. You have to wonder what they may have left on the table there with the missing the apex at the bus stop, but that is their one and only chance. And we go over to look at Mick Gliod in the 550 DGSR Bentley. This is the Badsko Sim Racing Team Number 1 car. And a little bit sideways there, going up through the top of Radion, but holds it together nicely. And in one piece to head down the Kemmel Straight. Again, a little bit sideways there. Just eking out every opportunity to get that power down. Ooh, this Bentley seeming very tail happy at the moment. McLeod really giving it everything on this lap. Again, just a twitch of oversteer. Perhaps this Bentley more set up for the dry conditions. Just struggling for a little bit of rear stability, it does seem. But so far, managing to keep it pointing in the right direction. And McLeod looking like they're on for a to be on for a decent time. They head into the bus stop chicane. McLeod crosses the line, and it's P6 for now with a 2 minutes 35.1. And yeah, that Bentley didn't look all too stable. As we go and check in with Nico Kuizma in the Tri-Wall Racing Aston Martin. Almost looks like this one could be an ACCSS entry. As Nico hooks together the Eau Rouge and Radion complex nicely and heads on down the Kenmore Straight. The drivers tonight so far handling the pressure well. The hopes and dreams of their teams sitting on their shoulders. Getting that also important grid slot for the race tomorrow. They have to forget about all of that now and just put down the best lap they possibly can. As Kuzma approaches the bus stop chicane. Looking like this could be a quick lap for Kuzma as they can just hold it together for the final few corners. And it is a 1:33.1. Just half a second off the pole. So we checking back in with Christian Tenerello in the Intercontinental Racing Aston Martin. There's just a little bit of wiggling going on there, maybe just trying to get some temperature in those tyres. drivers obviously just hoping that they've got the pressures right for this one flying lap, especially in these conditions. Getting that tyre temperature will be also important. They head down through Eau Rouge, up over Radion. Christian not using as much of that exit curb as some of the other drivers we've seen. We'll have to see if that impacts them in this one qualifying lap. Again, assuming like Christian's just trying to stay off the curbs as much as possible. Could be down to driver confidence, or perhaps just the way this car's set up, as that did seem a little bit sideways going through Pouhon there. No hint of a dry line appearing during this session, as we expected there wouldn't be. It's going to be relatively fair conditions for all the drivers to set their qualifying lap. It could be a quick one for Christian here. Crosses the line, and it is provisional pole with a 2:32.5. Just 500ths of a second faster than Ritisma. And the next driver to start their hot lap will be Benjamin Horiot. Is Benjamin Horiot of the Blue Cow Yacht Club racing team. The third Bentley we've seen, the third Bentley we've seen on track so far. Let's hope that Benjamin's got a bit more of a stable setup than McLeod did earlier. Does seem to be keeping their Bentley pointing in the same direction as the track for now, so would seem so. Ooh, and Benjamin deciding to go lawnmowering there, potentially invalidated their lap, and that is going to be qualifying over for Benjamin. So while we wait for Kevin Kovacs in the FRS Team Grapefruit Aston Martin to start their lap, just going to dive into the game settings very, very quickly. I do apologise, but I didn't realise. Oh no, I have got it on broadcast setup. Huh. Graphic settings just did not look as good as I thought they should. Must just be the conditions. Kevin driver for one of 5 FRS teams that are taking part in the ACCSS 24 Hours of Spa. The only one taking part in this Server 2 SUPERPOLE event. As Kevin starts their first of their only flying lap. I'm taking a lot of the inside curve there on turn 1 as we head down towards Eau Rouge. Well kept together there by Kevin. Heading down the Kemmel Straight. Taking a decent amount of speed into Lacombe, also taking a decent amount of curb. Opting to make the hairpin into a double apexer there. We've seen drivers taking multiple lines through that corner, some opting to hug the inside curb, and some like Kevin here almost diving into the first part of it, coming out wide and then hitting the second part of the apex to exit. A little bit of a wiggle there from using the inside curb, but it's all looking comfortable in the Aston. Just slightly missing the inside apex. Just the bus stop chicane to go. That should be an okay time for Kevin as he rounds the final corner and heads to the line. It's a 2:34 Kevin, and that puts him 6th so far. Oh, so now we will keep an eye on Hamling in the Wind Shadow Racing Aston Martin in a livery that looks remarkably similar to a car that I will be driving tomorrow in this 24-hour race. So hopefully we don't get those confused on commentary. Hamlin brings us into Eau Rouge. Ferrari making this lap look nice and tidy so far. That's the final sector to go for Hamlin. We're avoiding the green AstroTurf on the outside and also taking a wide berth of the exit curb. There's a couple of corners to go for Hamlin. It's not looking especially quick. This is going to be a 1:35.4 for Hamlin, and that puts them in a provisional P9. So next up we have William McCone in the Onid Racing Bentley, a fetching purple livery. I have to say, not especially a fan of the lime green British GT banner on the purple livery as they head down into Eau Rouge. Driving certainly looks a bit more classy than the clashing livery. Taking plenty of curb on the entry to Le Combe and perhaps compromising the line to the second corner. That's taking a lot of the exit curb there as they down the hill. The heavy braking zone. Let's see what sort of line McCone decides to take. McCone hugging the inside curb. And then narrowly missing the inside curb on the apex. Long drag down now to the bus stop chicane. Oh, and just get a little bit untidy there on the exit. It's a 2:36.2 for McCone, and they slot into P10. Just 6 drivers left to go, and we are on to our second Ferrari of Thomas Glabes, the All Sorts Racing team. of our other Ferrari sitting already in P5. We'll see how Thomas gets on. Taking an awful lot of curb there on the inside and very sideways through there. Really compromised the exit. This is looking a little bit untidy here in the Ferrari. They'll come down towards Puon. Looking tidier through there. Just a little bit of a tail slide coming out. Yeah, Ferrari can be a bit of a handful in the best of conditions, so in this rain and the high pressure scenario of a SUPERPOLE event, I can understand how it's been a bit tough to control. Again, a little bit of a slide there. Potentially the team just opting for sticking with their dry setup they're going to be using for the race. As Gleaves crosses the line for a 2:34.8. The next car to settle up will be Chris Swan. Chris Swan driving for RD24. And another lime green livery on the Aston Martin. This event so far going well. We've yet to see anyone absolutely beef it through Eau Rouge yet. Oh, that's good to hear, Paul. As we've already seen Wind Shadow Racing with a very similar Aston Martin livery. Oh, taking a lot of curb there, is Chris Swan. I'd agree with that, Stephen. Some good quality driving we're seeing here, and for the pressure that these drivers are under to perform with this Superpole format. As we see, Chris Swan puts it onto provisional pole with a very tidy looking lap, and that is a 2-minute 31.8. Next we have Jonathan Atkinson in the OTL Racing Aston Martin, coming to cross the start finish line for their one flying lap. A little bit of a kick of the tail there from Jonathan, but keeps it together nicely. I'd like to make it clear that that is not me sending that message in chat at the moment. Jonathan opting to take the hug the inside line there. Just the final section to go. The lap from Jonathan's looking tidy so far. It's worth pointing out at this stage that the order in which the drivers have been setting these laps have been from the order was set from our pre-qualifying sessions. So the slowest drivers in the pre-qualifying, or the slowest teams in the pre-qualifying, got to set their Superpole lap first, so we are now seeing the faster of the drivers setting their laps. Atkinson, nice little drive to the line, and that is P4 for Atkinson with a 2:32.5. Well, exactly the same time as Reitzmer before, but Reitzmer, having set the time first, gets the position. That is the one disadvantage of going first. So next up is Ian Hall in the X-Kart Esports team Aston Martin. Oof. A bit of a jump and a skid there from Ian, but again catches it nicely. Hopefully won't lose too much time for that. See what line Ian decides to take. Up to Trying to hug the inside all the way around. And just a little bit of curb on the exit. The final sector to go. So far so good from Hall as he runs very wide there on the exit, and it hopefully has not invalidated his lap time. We'll soon see as he comes to cross the start finish line. And it is a 2:32.5. It's them P3 for now. So now our final driver of the session, Nick Joyce-Plough, in the Crash Racing Focus horrendous liveried McLaren. If I didn't know better, I would say this was a Cal Mason creation. So our final run of the session will be at McLaren. Down towards Poole. McLaren usually loves the fast corners, but remains to be seen how it handles these wet conditions. Got very aerodynamically tuned. A little bit wide there from Plough. They come into the final chicane. Time's looking relatively quick so far. And that is a P6 for Plough, 2:32.8, and that will be our grid for tomorrow's race. So thank you all for watching, everyone, and make sure you tune in tomorrow from 11 a.m. UTC for the ACCSS 24-hour of Spa. Thank you very much and good night.